Hey everybody, welcome back to Collegiate R6 Season 5. We're heading hot and ready into Week 3, and we've got a great, wonderful game ahead of us. Texas Tech A versus Texas A&M. It's the Lone Star Shootout, and I'm really excited to see what this match is going to bring us.
Yeah, and it's a pleasure for me to be joining you, Stick. I am McCready. This is my first time with the Collegiate R6 scene, and I'm very excited for you to be coming through and guiding me on this wonderful occasion. And the derby, that's what we want to talk about. The two Texas teams going up against each other. So no doubt going to be a bit of rivalry whenever you two have a couple of teams from the same area, same place going up against each other. So Stick, without wasting any more time, we're going to go to the bat bands and we're going to see what we've got in store for us tonight.
Got a great couple of maps. Pretty default. Starting us off here will be Villa, followed by Oregon, a map which just gets played so common now as the meta begins to switch, and I could not be happier for it. And then as well, our Decider map will be Cafe. Interesting that we see the Consulate ban come out first by Texas Tech, because that map pretty frag heavy. In Texas Tech, they're a strong gun skills team, so I wonder if this is maybe them hiding something as we move further during the regular season, or maybe this is just the way the wind blew.
It might be, and when it comes to Villa, it's not really surprising that we are going to see that instead of Consulate, because Villa's one of those maps where the strats still matter. They are still a key part of the gameplay, still a key part of how teams approach this map. But you can rely on the frags quite a bit. You can get by out of a town spot just by shooting your way out and mixing things up a little bit. But what I really want to talk about is Oregon, because, Stick, you've noticed it and you've said, and I've noticed it as well, but it's coming in quite a lot. And I also have to agree, really enjoying watching it come out more and more and watching the meta develop over time.
It's definitely enjoyable, though all maps should be in moderation. If you see one map, over and over again, it's good now, but I know even some casters are starting to get a bit tired. And it seemed like for the past few months, that map was Cafe. It was in every single best of 3 series. A lot of teams feel really confident on Cafe, and I bet that's probably why it came through as the final decider, with Texas Tech deciding to ban Theme and then TAMU removing Coastline. So to leave Cafe, the structured map is our final decider. I think will be a good one to close it out should we see all 3 maps come through.
Yeah, and I'm not really surprised. CAF is one of those maps which you really do enjoy to play. It's not one of those you're really heartbroken seeing coming up. It doesn't really surprise anybody when it does come up. And having that multi-tier defensive style to it, it's a very comfortable pick for a lot of teams. Like you said, it's been having a lot of pick recently, and there's a good reason why.
Definitely so. We're just waiting on confirmation that both teams are ready and will be heading hot into Villa. What are your thoughts for this as our first map?
Now, I'm expecting the first team that's going to take this map, we're going to see them really come out of the gate here. Preferably see the defense really start to put up some good numbers, some good kills. Whereas the attackers, if they go in, they start to get those opening picks. Then they can play for the refrags, get the map control they need, especially, say, go for a master bedroom push when you think of the Aviator game sign. If they can get that map control and play aggressive, then I can easily see them pick up that first round. And then from there, just roll with the momentum best you can and go for the roam clears.
Definitely kind of snowballing and moving forward through for Villa. But as our producer said, without further ado, let's get into Villa. Both teams, assuming that they are ready, as we have seen confirmed in chat, should be starting off. I'm just waiting on something, but all right, here we go. So we're transitioning over. Villa is up next.
Hey, we weren't ready.
Texas Tech will be starting off on offense, so they get to leverage that frag-heavy mindset, and I'm interested to see how this is going to play out. Maybe we'll see Texas A&M try and maybe slow this down, play a bit of that 20-second meta game, but let's get into our map bans. We get to see which operators are removed. A safe bet to assume that the Thatcher will go out first.
Yeah, if you could see a Thatcher come out, it's not really surprising anyone, and for good reason, because the amount of time that can be saved just by leaving that Thatcher on the board is something the defenders just can't afford. He's not the key part of any strat. Is you get a Thatcher, you get a Thermite, you get a wall open, and then you move through on the side. Banning the Thatcher means it takes so much longer. You have to either go below, go above, or just go around it. And that makes it really difficult for the attackers, plays into defenders. So that's why he is the staple ban. But the answer to the Thatcher is going to be that Maverick stick.
Yeah, and I believe we are possibly going to just a short little rehost as the sides are incorrect. So stick with us after this short intermission while we get everything dialed in. You can see just then our final band, Mira, will have one more for you left after the break.
Hello and welcome back to the Collegiate R6. I am McCready, joining me is Stickula, and we are going to be starting off on Villa Stick after having a little bit of a mishap with the operator starting side. But we are going to be getting in, and Trophy Statue is going to be our first site.
Yeah, so we just had a quick little rehost, and now the momentum, not too hampered. You can see just there our operator bands were filled out. That final one being the Malusi. Interesting enough, maybe this is A&M. they don't want to try and deal with those Banshees. I mean, they're really difficult to clear. I'll give them that. And Melusi is a bit of a controversial operator in terms of that utility. So to see her removed here, especially for a really kind of drawn out execution heavy map like Villa,
Attackers
not
need to
all
locate and defuse as
not
many
all too
bombs
much
as they
surprising.
can.
I would put that in context, though, with the Mira ban. Seeing her removed as well, Mira obviously a crucial operator for a map like Villa. One thing to note is the fact that you have both the Jaeger and the Wamai left on the board. Two operators who, for Villa, play a crucial role, especially as we see here with Texas Tech deciding to hold the closet.
Yeah, as you can see, they've got the Wamai position there. He'll have that shield. And bringing the Wamai, having a couple of ADS support is going to be really easy. And having that Jaeger as well on the don't get everything in this
5 seconds left.
What I really like seeing Stick, though, is the rotation on triple wall supported by that castle.
Attackers must
That
locate
allows
and
the
defuse
support.
a bomb.
Someone who isn't playing his life, like when we first saw this closet hold. He's not playing that and then dying there. He can come back, he can have someone help support him and pull back, reinforce the hold, and he's getting away scot-free. But it does that. They are going to be going for a study hold and going to be running into canned Q at the bottom.
Very aggressive take here. Good from Texas Tech to try and slow it down, and it's definitely favorable. We need to see A&M not get too slowed down, especially on Villa. That can be the depth of some teams, and so as we'll see, the former Team Mooney member of Praise, incredibly aggressive, already pushing up here. Padwaka able to shut down Buck, a key fragger removed. The Vigil forced to get aggressive. He gets the Ash through the flashbang. What an incredible shot there for Cand. That is just a great way to refrag this to start it off. Swinging into the hallway, able to get a second. The Vigil for the double kill and removing Chief. Incredible man advantage. And with Pokey getting one as well and shutting down Jinro. Now, all of a sudden, this round completely awry. Texas A&M are lost.
Yeah, a minute 10 is all it took for Texas Tech to really get a start here. Hibachi's stuck on this 90 window, and realistically, there's nothing he can do as he is these shots. And then the Vigil, but he's going to be looking for the frag instead. But I want to talk about that last round. The roam clear wasn't something A&M were really expecting with that roam play, but Cute will fall after getting a very impressive amount of kills on the board so far. We'll be heading around to Bike and look to come up Astro's stairs. These air jabs can help him out, but deploying them too early or too late can prove fatal. Too early will give that point of too late will be the death of him as that hatch is open. Approach walking. Deploying Astro's stairs. Espen's waiting. The default cam will flick on. They know he's there, and now every gun is looking at fate just and a very dominant start for Tech.
I mean, you're right on. They moved so quickly, and it looked like they had the perfect setup to try and take in through games in Aviator. Unfortunately, the Vigil play, the flashbang completely blinded him. He didn't play passive. He didn't stay tucked in that corner. No, he aggressively swung, and he was able to not only remove the Ash, a crucial operator and especially an incredibly talented player here for Tamu, but also able to swing out and get the IQ in the hallway. 2 gunfights he had no business winning, propelling his team to victory in a fantastic showing.
Yep, and we're going to be heading to Aviator Games, which is going to be the second, like I'd say the most prevalent site on this map. Trophy coming second, but they do switch about quite a bit. We are going to see Jaeger Wamani coming out again, Smoke Valkyrie Maestro, and what I would expect to see from Tech U right now is a 90 hole. Snag that Wamai there, make it really difficult. Have a hatch open just in case to fall back or fall back on the side, but just do whatever you can to really make A&M get started like we saw that round. The Jaeger and Wamai, if they can really put damage here, that will be huge. And can keep up the aggression that he's had on that Vigil, then I don't see A&M really getting much more work in.
So, switching the bomb sites here, I wonder what the idea is as far as the rotation. Obviously, starting off well, they didn't even really need to defend the bomb site. They played it an incredible extension. The Master Bedroom seemed to have no effect whatsoever on the Tamu take. And so now, heading over to Aviator Games, what is your thoughts on this second defensive setup?
Well, I'm looking at how we've got a main stairs hold. So Tech are definitely expecting this push heading through that study area. But Chief and Praise are not going to be falling into that. They're going to be looking for this Master Bedroom area. However, they do have a Valkyrie that they're going to have to clear out. And with this room clear, the Valkyrie having these black eye cameras would get a C4 away if need be. And the Buck who is awaiting in the wings, or should I say, in the bush. A very difficult position to be. And as the drone comes out, they're going to have to check their corners, which it looks like they but Buck is pushed out regardless. Will go for a little bit of a gunfight over the Force Connect area, pulling back to site, saying, okay, I'll slow them down a little bit. That'll keep them waiting. I'm going to pull back.
Yeah, just give it up. Don't play too aggressive. It's the issue we saw for Texas A&M last round. They were way too aggressive. They lost a lot of early gunfights, and ultimately it was so punishing. But now we'll see more of a turtle trying to hold on the bomb site, as well as applying some pressure towards the 90, cutting off a possible north to south attacking execute, and a wonderful nitro cell. Looks like bait with the pre-place down low, able to immediately shut down the ace, a critical operator. Your hard breach all gone.
Yeah, without bringing a Thatch, a Thermite, or a Habana, you don't have a Maverick either. That's the ace gone. You're gonna have to funnel through the lines of sight of that. Once you see now, Praise put a bit of pressure onto Buck, but he's gonna have to coordinate the push if he wants to get a kill here. The rest of his team will come up in support, but at the moment, he is just going to have to back up.
Yeah. You'll have to cover for me real quick, McCready, so give your best thoughts while I try to work this out.
Okay, so as we look at this, you see Hibachi, he's coming down the door. Kenji will start to get flashed out, and he knows he can play on site, but now the lost. Bookshelf will be open just a little bit, and Can now has a rotation fight through, actually. He can go for 43 seconds on the clock, though. And start making that push. Need to hold out. Kanku looking for a kill on this 90. Will get picked down, though. Getting down, finished off by Plodwaka, and that's it. That is the first second kill of this round. And Buck looking for another one, though, but it will be Plodwaka who finds bait. Buck getting a trade. Seconds left, the smoke cannon coming out. Stop this plan, but they'll pull back off the plan. He knows that he can't go for the edge abs going out. Will eventually. No, they will not catch him. Boston. So the smoke canisters and off the plan will be going down. Oh, but not if Pokey has anything to say about it. Trade's coming in, thinking fast, 20 seconds on the clock, but the plant's not going down. But the attackers will win on frags. Podwaka able to find Pokey spot and after Hibachi falls, and oh, it was an absolute frag fest there now. Breaking that down a bit, you lost the ace so quickly. You have to think, okay, they had to funnel through the doors. They had to funnel through the kill zones that Tech had been setting up. But they didn't matter. They coordinated it really well. They started pushing that Aviator side. As soon as Hibachi died, Chief was there looking for some of the kills. Podwaka there, coming from behind, really just putting pressure on most definitely a Tunnel Vision's Tech University side. And Stig, as you are joining us yet again, I do just want to say that you unfortunately missed quite a beautiful round.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate, but the big plan here is to make this as smooth as possible for the full 3 maps, because, I mean, already this one's back and forth. A strong and dominant round on number 1, defending Statuary, and now as we switch over, it seemed like Texas A&M had something to say for themselves. Podwaka, I don't even need to see what happened in that last round. I could just look right there at his player card. 5-1. A ton of kills for the space of 2 rounds, and that entry fragger having the impact that his team would definitely be expecting.
Yeah, definitely. Really coming in clutch, being able to cover Praise as they will put in the area, able to catch Canned off guard and find that kill. Then just come behind them as soon as the plan starts to go down. The Aviator pushed through, he was involved and found that final kill onto Pokey Spartan. But we are going to return to this side. We are going to see them downstairs again. What I want to see, though, from Tech is just that little bit of knowledge that they can come from that side again. And but if you're going to play over towards Connector, make it a little bit longer. Try and at least damage someone or waste time a little bit longer.
It's been unusual to see twice now, not really much in the way of vertical play. We don't have a Buck, which is a crucial operator, especially if you're trying to uproot some of these DTU defenders inside Aviator games. And you've got to expect that they're going to repeat this bomb site. I don't think, it's really in the mindset for TTU to immediately after a difficult loss defending Aviator games to rotate down to the tertiary site. You're probably going to try and re-attempt that. And I've got a wonderful kill here. I've kind of got like a replay going because I have the stream on my middle monitor. So that's interesting. So I get a bit of the action on what we saw for round number 2. But let's focus on what's happening in the present. A ton of utility wasting, an aggressive peek by the Wamai, tagging up Praise. The Ash suffering inside 90 corner. We'll have somebody else rotate, maybe give her a bit of an assist, and it seems they're going to attempt to get open the classical 90 wall. A real issue they struggled with last round, considering how early Jinro went down. And when you lose your hard breach, especially on this bomb site, it becomes such a bloodbath. You have to force in through either zombie door or classical 90, which just creates a huge, tremendous kill box. And you're going to suffer so much unless you've got a strong entry fragger who can shift the tides, like we saw from Podwaka.
Yeah, and that is something, though, that A&M don't really have to worry about. They have that hard breach open. They're going to be trying to get this wall open, but not if Espen has anything to say about it. One successful impact truck will go out. The question is, can he make another? A minute ticking down onto that clock, and yet a kill to come out. But as I say that, Fuck is able to find Hibachi, bit off the Nomad, shutting down that roam clear, and keeping control of that range there. Though, will find an answer in Canned.
They're still struggling to get control of 90 corner, though I think one of the Selmas was successful, so that's something they've got in their book. The attempted impact trick just a little bit too slow, definitely a challenging task. Close angle on the floor. Buck gets a freebie onto the Ash and immediately shutting down Praise. That's a double for him, taking down the Nomad and the Ash. He'll have a difficult time rotating through, obviously. It looks like Jinro covering the angle, and Podwaka moving forward. He'll spot the Maestro. The pre-fire, though, won't work his way. Not even getting a single kill before he's shut down by Bait. The plant's going down. The Nitro Cell tossed. It lands right in front of him, taking him out Bait for the second. And there's just no way we can see Chief get back into this. He'll have to find a massive 4K to get these clutches. He gets one. They'll quickly shut down Buck on the wraparound to find the triple kill.
Yeah, and that round being shut down on the side of Texas A&M. Tech, really good work there, being able to play for those refrags. The coordination of the Maestro and Smoke to get that kill onto that vault area, which is where we saw the Zafir pushing last time, being able to pick that off. The C4 then coming out through a perfectly prepared C4 hole. You know, it just all came together for Tech University, and they'll be looking to recreate some of that as they go back to the trophy statue room. Camu, though, need to have their roam clear prepared. They need to be a lot more prepared to go for these early gunfights against Canned and Buck.
You're exactly right, though. You need to look at having a good roam clear, but I think it's also important to talk about the vertical play. We're not seeing really any attempt to dislodge some of these defenders through the vertical gameplay. We saw a couple of, I wouldn't say malfaded, but they didn't exactly work when the Zofia attempted, obviously, to push in, try to dislodge the Maestro, or I believe was the Mute, playing on top of the billiards table, just kind of hanging out. That crossfire, as you mentioned, working so effectively in the favor of TTU, and ultimately after that, without that vertical play, it was going to be an impossible task to get the plant down. In Aviator, there was the shield, which was never clear. There was a ton of pressure from inside of Study. Obviously, Buck able to swing in through there at the end round. And you kind of need to come at this a bit more dynamic, and we're not seeing that from Texas A&M so far.
Yeah, they need to bring that in now. They've lost 2 rounds, lost one attacking this very site, lost one attacking that Aviator game site. But now, as they're coming in, like I said, they need to get that early roam clear. They need to be expectant of this push coming out from Texas Tech University. Oh, it's tripping me up, Stick. The Monty coming in is going to be able to call out Canned. Support should be able to come out quite soon, and Canned will fall down to Podwaka, not afraid to step up and get that impact kill. Winning this early gunfight can be crucial in establishing map control as we head on later into the round.
It's just so unfortunate. TTU losing one of those key roamers early will give Texas A&M the perfect opportunity. As well as with Buck falling back, it seems that Aviator and Games will fall swiftly just as soon as Tamu gets their drone work in. Chief waiting downstairs. This is a smart play from him, locking off a potential early round flank, and also possibly being in the position, should there have been the extension into Master Bedroom and Aviator, to get some of that utility removed from below. He's really insistent on holding off this flank, and that's good to see. You know, Texas A&M, they've come into this and they have a plan. They had a plan in past rounds. They just didn't go about it the right way. Buck's position spotted, playing on the red stairs. He'll fall back now deeper into Memo. The Monty being very aggressive and almost bullying him out of this position, and now he's forced to play a bit more passive. Looks to rotate back through kitchen, but still lingering on the first floor.
Yeah, definitely. Buck's role now is to just wait until the later game so that he can move when this push is coming down in the last 45 seconds or so. If he can get around to main stairs, get to red stairs without being spotted by one of these many flank cameras that are going to be placed down, then that's going to have to be criminally lethal. Heck, however, the smoke canisters, speaking of lethal, will be coming out on this statue area. Hibachi will be looking to go for a plant now, and this statue door getting tagged up just a little bit. Won't be able to go for that plant, and will be on a very low HP. Bait, though, finds a kill at the Fraser, looking to open up another angle. And we see SP pushing to connect. He spots that door and calls that it will be opened. Spots the Monty pushing up and just backs off. He realizes there's no need to fight this. There's going to be someone behind in case, and Buck will be that player behind. He will find Padwaka, but immediately Jinro will find that trade onto Espen. Suddenly this trophy side has been opened up, but Buck still playing by that master door can be huge. Chief, though, will find him and will get downed and killed by him, as we also see Jinro down. Hibachi going for this plant. He will have to stick it. He cannot afford to lose it, and now he's going to have to wait. Jinro nowhere near to help. And the rest of Texas Tech are coming in, and the Sharks are soon.
They really are. Beta's going to have basically a freebie here if he turns his back to try and deny this plant, and it just goes his way. He tries to rush up, so valiant to stop the disable, but ultimately Texas Tech, they fight back for control. And another kind of confusing round from A&M. I talked about it, and I'll keep mentioning it until I see it. There's no vertical play at all from A&M. They're not attempting to dislodge these players. We're not seeing something which happens so often, which is an Ash to go below to Ash charge part of the floor, especially that common position just inside of statue so you can deny the default plant. We're not seeing all of these commonalities that you would expect for an Aviator attack, for a statue attack, and it really can be a factor that continues to develop. We did see at least somewhat of an attempt to try and split up the push, but ultimately Bait getting very aggressive on the Wamai, jumping out of the walk-in window, was simply able to win his one. And immediately with that player going down, there was no refrag, and all control that they might have been able to get of the master bedroom was instantly lost.
Now, what I really want to bring attention to is Bob being able to play behavior. Now, I said if he could get up that yellow stairs, if he could get up the main stairs and come back behind them at the right time, that'd be crucial. He didn't. He went to master bedroom, looked towards landing, and was able to get a kill. Was able to shut off the support that A&M had for Hibachi there. That really can't slide. You need to have a drone watching it. You need to have an air jump or something. Somebody watching that master door if you're going for that push into statue, because then Jinro went down, Hibachi was on his own with the diffuser. There was nothing that really could be done. So, Buck, that's the impact kill for me. That's the one I want to see. But moving on, though, instead, looking at this site, I'm really excited to see this. We've got a dining room, but without your typical top 4 stacked room. We've got a lot of living room presence here from the defenders.
I'm a big fan of the living room extension, and as well as extension strategies generally being one of my favorite parts of Siege. But we do have at least some top floor presence. It'll be canned on the Vigil. Probably the best operator you could put up here. He'll consolidate a decent amount of pressure, obviously with the lack of having any castle barricades deployed up here, or I don't think any reinforcements either, except for maybe the hatch. You need to have as much control as you can exert as possible. And the Vigil, with the fact that he can't be droned out, will give you the most buck or the the most buck for your bargain. Oh no, Chief though coming in through Aviator will cut him down, and unfortunately, standing out in the open, he kind of got caught off guard. Well, at least that's something you can count in the favor of Texas A&M, though Hibachi going down as well, and Nitro Cell could be heading his way. They're looking for the opportunity. The wall bang attempted, or the floor bang rather, though it ultimately won't connect. And Hibachi should be soon revived now as he moves to a more safer part of the master bedroom.
Yeah, I think looking at seeing a Mute and a Vigil on the lineup heading into a round, especially on a sudden aspect like Dining, you need to remember verticality goes both ways. So as long as you'll keep moving, keep avoiding these C4s like you see Jinro being able to do over by Laundry, then you can really start up. Espen, though, unable to stop that Ace Selma charge. Now we'll have to play this in position, but we still have Praise and Chief on the top floor. They're looking for this kill. Chief will spot Espen and get that kill, bringing him down to 2 after picking up that Vigil. Texas A&M looking really strong now. The rest of Tech pulling back onto side, but Buck doesn't want to go without an answer. Will find Budwacker and hold in that memorial area. And as time is starting to tick down, something's gonna have to happen from A&M as the drones start pouring in.
Getting that kill ultimately really crucial here when you factor in that you've got 2 low health players, but ultimately it doesn't have as much of an effect as I might think, as Jinro simply pushes into sight to find a double kill and Chief to close it out with a 3rd of his own. Tamu ultimately making a couple of changes, definitely necessitated. You've got to look at that vertical play. It works so well for them in this round. If they simply can replicate that here for number 6, I could easily see them exiting the first half tied up 3-3.
Yeah, and that's a really, really good position to be in. I don't think I really have to emphasize how much, because if you go in 3-3, then you can say, all right, the hardest part is over. We're going on to defender side. We can rest up a little bit. We don't have to push these gunfights. But what I really want to talk about is question what really happened there for TTU. You had Canned with Vigil looking towards master bedroom. That's fine. That's great. But you've got a Valkyrie. You've got your cameras over in that statue master area. You'll know if you have somebody on those cameras. You'll know there's someone there. So why would you have a Vigil angle? This then led to Chief being able to come around, get that opening kill, and with no realistic top floor presence on the side of Texas Tech, they allowed A&M to get on top, get that top complete control, and like you said, they did it good. They held that area, they opened it, they got the kills they needed to, pushed out base, was able to find Espen as well, and then allows Jinro to move in, start getting these kills, those double kills that you talked about, and I think that's all she wrote, Stick. There's not really much more to say about the round other than if you got a Valkyrie and the camera's in that position, have someone watch it, don't cover it, stop that.
In that last run, especially after we saw the Doc get the aggressive pick on the Nomad who attempted to leap over the balcony, at that point, the round I think could have teeter-tottered either way. Texas A&M, they had 2 players on incredibly low health. I believe that was not the Nomad, but the Ace and possibly the IQ. They were all, within 1 bullet. And when you've got some incredible gun skill players here for TTU, as well as plenty of explosives and smoke canisters, one little mistake could have cost you a ton of man advantage. Though ultimately we saw strong individual plays in that last round, carrying Texas A&M to an overall victory and keeping themselves alive in this series. Texas Tech, in my opinion, need to come out of this first half 4-2 because of the fact that this is their map. You would expect them to ride with the trend, if not come out in the advantage by a 4-round lead. Texas A&M, a couple of, little growing pains, I think. Obviously, them making a few recent roster changes that does affect your ability to coordinate well as in combination with, obviously, the IGL. When you've got new players, they have new ideas. Praise suffering a drone hole, just the bane of any player's ankles inside 90 corner, and a Nitro Cell will take him out. That's an unfortunate kill, and another round goes by where Praise just cannot get on the board.
Really, but an incredible kill, like you said, taking away that buck, taking away the ability to open up what little walls aren't reinforced right now. What I want to see is Chief. You've got to be down below. You've got to try and take out that mute jam and take out the players that are there if you can see them. But as these air jabs are going out, as Podwhacker still has that control of the 90 area for now, he will have to try and push out Can as well. Look to get a kill through this drone hole isn't going to work, so don't try it, Pod. You don't have the angle, you don't have the ability to do, unfortunately. So he will back off. Hibachi looking to open things up from another front, which is what I like to see, the free fire coming out as he opens that window, but distracting the player on the main stairs bookshelf area nonetheless. That is definitely what we need to see from A&M, opening up another angle, but Buck is there to shut it down as he finds that kill and looks towards his 90 area. Tex ripping back control of this round as Buck finds another, his 11th kill, and the diffuser most importantly. Podwhacker and Chief are going to have to try and save this half for Texas A&M. Chief finding a kill onto Buck will start off really well as Podwhacker is able to tag a Pokey Spartan as well. Doesn't find the kill though, and still Texas having a 1 and 2-man advantage. Make that another as we see Chief going in to get a trade for Podwhacker who fell. Chief able to down one, downs another, but falls to Can Cute. Oh, a very nice attempt, just didn't go your way.
He certainly gave it the old college try here in CR6, but unfortunately cut down. The aces opening in that wall ultimately worked to his own disadvantage. And now we're done. 4-2. This is looking acceptable for TTU, and as we see them now head over to the offense, they need to come into this really dominant. We need to see them quickly assume that position in the driver's seat, because if you let Tamu play this out as a strong and very traditional structured defense, you're going to have to be worried about that clock wearing down on you as well as the momentum. If Tamu can come out of this first map, even with Buck, who just is getting frag after frag, if they can take this map, that would be devastating for the morale, for the motivation of the TTU players to keep going in the series, and would just be dreadful. We'll see an interesting 6 pick, though. That's what you like to see. The IQ over to the Lion.
Yeah, that, you know, looking at that, I think an IQ would just be a better pick overall, but Lion does have disadvantages, especially when you're going to a living room site, which Texas Tech might not know about. They have the Sludge, they have Zephyr, they have an Ace. They can open up a lot of these lines of sight that they're going to need. Nomad on the board, but the board can really help as well. You know, you can shut down any rooms trying to usurp that top floor control. But the Lion, I mean, coming down to the last 30 seconds, having a Lion scan go over your head, yes, you can hear footsteps a lot easier because there's not as much footsteps from your team, but that does keep you held there. The attackers, you know they're going to be coming, and you know that they're going to be for you. But it looks like A&M are going to force a roam clear if Texas Tech want to win this round.
I think the Lion does have a good use case, even if, you know, this is a bit of an off-guard pick for Texas Tech. You're going to be able to clear out that top floor presence a little bit easier, and it's basically going to mean that if Texas A&M lose control of that top floor, and if Texas Tech are able to do it efficiently, it would be devastating, and it's going to force them back to rotate into a site that's not fully set up, and already an objective that's poorly defensible at best. If TTU can leverage that line to its full potent ability, it's really going to be an uphill battle for Texas A&M.
Yeah, man, Kanku will be starting us off opening and moving into the statue area. Hibachi will be playing quite close on red stairs, backing off as Praise is waiting in the wings with that SMG-11. The drones coming out will be looking to find these roamers. But at the moment, A&M are playing quite conservative. They're just waiting. They know that they're placing a lot of emphasis that they are there, making Texas Tech go for this roam clear, but they're taking their time. They're not taking any unnecessary gunfights. And when you're playing the defender, that's a really good play style to adopt.
Certainly not going to receive any criticism. Praise holding close with the shotgun. Maybe this will be his opportunity. He can cut anyone down that tries to push in aggressive. And it seems like TTU are a bit lost for how they want to go for the execute. They're trying to decide whether or not it's simply going to be a horizontal take or if they're going to try and push in to usurp control of Aviator and Games. Ultimately, maybe a mix of both. We'll see them kind of coexist on the top floor here. The Sledge opening up a bit of the floor, maybe looking for an angle. But the time is starting to tick down a bit low. Kind of worrying for Texas Tech now as that angle through the drone hole just continues to get the better of them. A wide swing by the Valkyrie, a top study to find 2 big kills. So Buck certainly not being quiet as he moves in through living room and collects yet another kill. 12-4. Still, though, battles ongoing for first floor and second floor control. And TTU not doing so hot in the man advantage.
Yeah, definitely. As you can see, Podwaka looking to even taking another 2 kills. The second double kill we've seen so far. And it's all a Buck. Like you said, not quite getting into that library. But there's nobody else there. He's in the living room. He's sat there. He needs that diffuser, which is in control of A&M, who are looking very strong on the first round of their defense. Now, they pull back to the first floor. They know that they don't need to take these gunfights. They can wait for this plan to come out, which with 15 seconds left, it will have to. They know the plan cannot really be faked out at this point, because it's going to have to get that with the most favorable post-plan position possible. But with the softball, with the position, with the time and the man count, A&M can just throw the bodies at the praise. It's going to be coming around. The question is, does he fire the softball? He expects there's someone there, starts to open it, alerts his position to Buck, who will go prone and wait for the push. Able to nearly find one, but Praise gets that kill and is able to get that defuse, and A&M will win the first defensive round of this half.
Seems like celebration all across the board here. Tamu shooting everything open. Probably rejoicing in the fact that Prey's finally able to get a kill, and definitely a really talented one. Pushing through there, you're at a disadvantage. Obviously, the Zofia, she just has that ability to lock in pre-fire and know that you're going to come on through when she hears those footsteps. But a successful defense on living room library means so much for Tamu. They don't have to worry about coming after, taking these 2 primary bomb sites as far as the rotation goes, just as long as they can come out with a couple of well-rounded, confident defenses for Aviator Games and Statue. This should be an easy ride to take the lead.
Yeah, and there we go. That's what I said there. We saw Tamu. They were struggling quite a bit on their first half, going 4-2 like we saw. But they were able to pick up a couple of rounds, and the rounds they lost were close, with the exception of the first one. Now, heading onto the defensive side, going for the hardest site to defend first, arguably one a lot of teams just don't want to pick. I've seen it a little bit more often than about you, Stick. I've seen living room pop up a bit more, but it's definitely at the bottom of the rung, in my opinion, when you look at the viability of sites.
Yeah? What do you think about dining versus living room? Because I feel like they both have some merit, but I don't know.
I mean, when you look at living room, okay, you realistically have to do in the top floor hold the same as dining. When you look at it from a very different perspective. And you see A&M, where they're holding now, typically for Aviator Games, where it's a really good site to hold is in these buildings. The long corridors and that study area, main area, is good to hold and then fall back from, and then you can catch a good couple of kills from, like we've seen quite a few players of both sides do so far. But with dining, you need to hold the 90 area. You need to hold bookshelf to cover that main door. You have to expose yourself in the positions you'd rather have the attackers, so then they can push in, find a couple of easy gunfights if you're not checking the right angle at the right time. Whereas dining, you can just hold stats, you get the triple and should be good. But Jinro doesn't care about what I'm saying. He will get some shots out, trying to just slow down the attackers as they know that he's there. Will walk by bait and hear that window being open. So playing quite close as the drones will be going to the top floor. And the Goyo coming out is also going to be looking to slow down the attackers alongside the
Trying to get in here, move quickly, and frankly just disregard the lack of drones is probably going to be the right way to shrug that off. Obviously, you need to be a bit patient. You need to remain wary that you could have at any turn a Texas A&M player holding a rat corner and waiting for that opportunity to leap and strike out at your offensive execute here. But now it seems this is much more dynamic from Texas Tech. We're seeing them invest some manpower below. I imagine well aware of Jinro inside of Living Room Library around that area, and hoping that he doesn't try and come through from the grass door. All things considered, this is relatively standard for an Aviator Games defense, though the Mute Mozzie combo for this bomb site doesn't see all too much use because you're not really always attempting those really long extensive roams, which the Mute Mozzie combo works so well for. Buck with the kill onto Jinro, Podwaka instantly though refragging and removing the sledge a crucial operator, and losing those grenades going to be incredibly punishing. Now, focusing on this vertical play, Buck waiting for this opportunity. If he can spot out Praise below, killing the smoke would mean so much for TTU.
Yes, and having Buck survive that first gunfight on your attacking side is huge, because instead of having maybe Ken down below or anyone else, you have Buck. There's a fear. You realistically know where a lot of these players are going to be. You can use that concussion nade and the impact nade to get some vertical play, but it looks like Buck is just going to try and open up study and just give another angle for A&M to hold. Hibachi, though, will be playing close, and we'll have to just wait for Buck to start pushing in. The Mozzie shot pass coming in clutch right now as Hibachi goes up the swing, gets the kill. That is huge. Able to find that man advantage in favor of an A&M.
Well, he heard the drone, and he just went all the way out there. Beta is getting a bit tagged up here, and we'll see that Selma's detonate as well, so they've got the angle. Ooh, so close here onto the player behind the bar. Not able to thread the needle, though able to get the other one. Padwaka shut down, but Chief, it's an explosion below the wraparound from the corner, and Chief to find another one. Texas A&M take round number 8.
Oh, I think it's quite clear now that Texas A&M definitely picked this site and this map for their defensive skill on it. We've seen that they've just been able to play around TTU so much better than TTU could do to Tamu. You saw the Mozzie, as soon as that pet drone came in, he heard that, he was out there, go for the pre-fire, getting the kill onto Buck. Yes, they lost the first gunfight down below, but at that point, enough time had been wasted. They could just bunker in on site, and eventually Chief coming through with a beautiful C4, and the rest of the players coming out with kills. That's all she wrote. And we're going to go to Dining Room Kitchen. We're not going to see a trophy statue site. We're going to see the dining room. And this is what I really like to see. In the same vein of reading Dining on Kaf Dostoevsky, it's essentially a top floor take or a top floor hold until the last 30 seconds, in my eyes, in which your defenders will pull back to side, bunker in, and then you've got to push down below.
I've drawn that comparison before, and it's definitely apt. You need to focus on that vertical play, whether you're a defender or an attacker, mostly for the defense and trying to shut down the plant, but also important in wasting time. For the attackers, leveraging the top floor means you can remove some of these common positions. We saw that done last time incredibly well on round number 5. I believe it was the Mute trying to hold close on the door, contesting Laundry as well as the Ace in his attempt to open up the Tetris wall. Fell. There was a Sledge and IQ combo. They immediately slammed open that rooftop, threaded the needle to get that angle, and took him down. If TTU can emulate that success, we might see them inch out just barely in front of Texas A&M. Going to the tertiary bomb site, though, an interesting choice. Rather than heading to Trophy Statuary, a bit of a stale bomb site and well thought out here for Villa.
Yeah, definitely. We are seeing Bait looking to make a roam clear from this position. Not really going for that top floor, like you saw. They're over the south side. They're saying, okay, we just got to push in. Maybe get a kill or two. But in my eyes, TTU, you need to be going for some kind of vertical play. Either take below or take above. However, we might see a late round rotation. We might see Canned and Bait, as soon as they have control of living room, clear that position out, might move up to the top floor and start taking that. The only problem is that just might waste a bit too much time.
You really need to kind of barter with your time here, because if you invest too much on trying to go for one part of the execute and then at the last second have to switch things up, it can be impossible, and it's just a measure of your flexibility. Texas Tech with the big focus on attempting to come through horizontally, something we didn't see all too much in round number 5. Buck pushing up 13-6, trying to go prone here in Mudroom to take out the camera, but ultimately fails because of the angle. Hibachi holding on the Astro staircase could possibly be his demise, but at least the Jackal will have some intel on the Mozzie's position and possibly be a bit more measured. We'll see some presence outside of Laundry Room as well, but the Pulse, he's got that cardiac sensor up and ready. Anyone that tries to push in, their position will be known, but Hibachi will get the headshot, and it's the P10 Roni all the way in that gunfight. Losing your Jackal early means a lot, and you're not going to be able to clear out those roamers, and you're not going to clear out anything for the top floor, which is a big concern, though maybe Bait will deny me that assumption. He is on the windows, and Did he got Jinro? Oh, that is just so unfortunate.
Definitely. Being able to get a buff with bait and getting that buck, most importantly, is going to be huge. I was about to say, Stick, I wanted to see either bait or Canada going up to that top floor, because that's when you start applying another setup of pressure. The Pulse can't focus entirely on Laundry or above, because there's two angles shooting at him, but bait will drop down and look to start pushing with the rest of his team as soon as time starts. Praise, though, he's going to be deadly close as the drone comes out. Will spot him and give him away. Praise is going to move position just in case, as bait knows he's there, but Kanku will get a frag grenade out. Finding Podwhacker, pushing onto site. Hibachi, though, will get a trade as Praise falls as well, and Kanku can't get the kill onto Hibachi, and will fall to the Chief, 2 for the SMG-11. Looking for another kill, picking off bait. Now, it's all down to Aspen. He needs to find 2 kills, get out of Fuser, and plant it in 10 seconds. Will start pushing in, gets spotted by Chief. Hibachi, though, will find that final kill. And Texas A&M picking up another round on their defense. TTU, though, looking really well before that push did come out.
Yeah, it was a big struggle there. You had to get Espen, who was... It was way back in piano. He was holding off the rotate in case anyone tried to push through from grass and into Memo. But I don't think they really expected to have to force him to rotate back into the objective in a 1-on-2. It was such a long journey. And even then, when he got inside of Memorial, he had to play too passive because there was 2 defender guns traced on either of those entry points. And this is Tamu on TTU's map pick taking the lead. Not to discount the fact, however, that we are on a very defender-sided map. Ultimately, though, TTU, I'm kind of confused because in that last round, they had some of those good check marks. They cut off the flank on the top floor, at least the first flank attempted, and then they had a strong execute. They got a really good frag grenade kill that was canned, and they seemed to have everything going their way. I mean, the Tetris wall was open. There was plenty of opportunities, though ultimately, I think what happened is they kind of got separated. They didn't have a confident plan as far as what the execute was, and what that led to was a situation where Texas A&M, being as they are the defenders, they were just able to kind of leverage the full effect, that guerrilla warfare, the elements of surprise that can be so deadly in sidelining offensive executes.
Yeah, definitely. Being the defender just makes life so much easier. You don't have to force the gunfight, which the attackers have to. You don't have to push for the time. You don't have to set the pace as a defender. You could just kind of hold back. You can, if you want to, go for gunfights, but you can realistically play it how you want to. Texas Tech, on the other hand, are going to have to really start making a strong presence, really going to this trophy statue site. Now, A&M, they've gone for a very, I'm going to say unorthodox line of which site to take, but they are going to this area eventually, and Podwhacker playing here with that Origin shotgun. That's going to be criminal there. He has one of those walls soft, so he can get a kill into bathroom, can swing very easily on this window, from with a shotgun. This is going to be disgusting if Aspen tries to push.
Something to note here, though, is the lack of the Wamai. So with the structured deployment of utility, I think theoretically Podwhacker couldn't be clear, and it seems just that will happen. 3 flashbangs tossed in here by the Nomad. The Ella trying to get aggressive, but that frag grenade, it'll go on through, though the Ella survives it. Unfortunately, a bit of wasted utility there, and Pokey Spartan really taking the brunt of the damage. Another frag grenade lobbed in, an aggressive peek, and the nade, it misses again. The Nomad shut down on the jump in, and so too goes the Sledge. The Ash able to finally get the refrag, and the Ace to find one as well. Buck getting a kill. It's frags all across the board for blue and orange, and we sit at a 3-2. Texas Tech in the advantage, even after the incredible struggles that they faced in executing through from the walk-in closet. They will be, though, now in a bit of a sticky situation. You're going to have to force in, dislodge Hibachi, who now rotates back inside of Trophy. Buck leaping in here is going to have a very difficult task. The Alda, a ferocious weapon in those close range, long range, any range engagements. And with 81 bullets, you can pre-fire all day. Praise getting Pokey Spartan as well. The low health Ace shut down. The Jaeger claiming the kill And now all they need to do is play this passively. There's only 45 seconds to come up with an execute, and with Buck dead as well, all the more difficult.
Yeah, the pre-fire will be coming out from Bait, but Praise is just waiting there. Will find that final kill, and A&M picking up another round. And you have to think, yes, it was a bloodfest. Yes, TTU came out with the man advantage after a minute and a half. But stick, all that bloodbath was pushing into closet. Absolutely incredible work coming out from the Ella there, being able to just hold there, wait, Podwhacker, wasting so much time, finding 2 kills before being pushed out. That just... and a minute and a half gone on the clock. I'm lost for words, but I'll try and explain it anyway. Taking away that much time, taking away 2 attackers. Yes, like I said, TTU had a man advantage afterwards. But then they had to rotate. Then, like you said, the defenders can just bunker in, pick them off one by one as they went for the push because TTU had to. They didn't have favorable positions because they'd only just taken out control of Master Bedroom. Then they had to rotate to connector to put pressure on Hibachi. And then, like you said, the Alder just won that gunfight. And then Praise playing an Astro, waiting for Faith. And honestly, the round was done from Podwhacker's play in Closet. Incredible work. Going for the swing as the frag grenade came out to find not 1 but 2 kills.
The issue that I have with the second half is it's not the fact that TAMU have taken 4 defenses, which is what you would expect. It's the fact that they've taken 4 defenses no matter which bomb site. They started it off with a bombshell, that extension on Living Room Library up to the top floor. It worked so well in their favor. It was a big struggle for TTU in the mid-round. They suffered a lot with Texas A&M attacking on the fringe. And now, after that, they were able to take ABG, and then they were able to take Dining, and then they were able to take Statue, and now we're back to ABG again. So you've got a primary bomb site, an opportunity to take it after a flawless rotation, and then some.
Yes, and most importantly, on a match point, and like you said, Texas A&M, this is their map, and they are definitely proving why. Texas Tech University, though, will be looking to shut them down. Just say, okay, yes, you got momentum, but we are going to take this master. We are going to take 90. We are going to take your bomb site, and we are going to win. Hopefully pushing them through with another 2 rounds to force an overtime, but Texas A&M are starting very aggressive in this road play. Podwhacker not afraid of making himself known and making TTU know that they have to clear him out.
We spent a lot of time here for Villa talking about theory, but let's talk about putting things into play. Buck has had so much effect. Bait as well. But when you look at TAMU, I feel like they have just been overall more evenly spread with the frags, and that's been helping them out. Especially a lot here on defense, when being more reliant on team play, coordination, and fragging off of each other gives you a bit more of an advantage than simply some of these aggressive plays, which we've seen them credit. But Cancun, talk about an impact play, shutting down Jinro and Praise, your Jaeger, your Ella gone, and now the man advantage strong for TTU. This could just be the round to start the comeback, and Pokey Spartan with one as well, and shutting down Podwaka, trying to hold inside Aviator, simply not gonna work. The Maestro attempting this again, but it's a 3rd kill for the Sledge, and Buck to find the last one. Texas Tech University with a flawless round, and it's just kill after kill.
I am going to be honest and say that I called it, because I did. I said, TTU, they want to take Master Control, they want to take 90 Control, and then they want to take the site. And that's exactly what we saw. Like you said, Cancun being able to shut down the Jaeger and the Ella, the 2 predominant fragging operators there. Then you see Cancun pushing yet again on 90, able to catch the Maestro. Doc falling as well. The drone work was there. The coordination of the push was there. As Cancun pushed over towards that Maestro, you had the rest of his team pushing to that AVG door. I'm not really sure where TAMU went wrong there, but they definitely did somewhere. They needed to, I think they needed to have that roam play a little bit longer. You had Podwhacker play towards landing, but then pull off really quickly. That gave away that control so quick that TTU, they just woke up. They were able to win their gunfights, able to take that 90 control, push down, And then from there, that really shuts a lot of opportunities down for A&M. They can't use those main stairs to rotate if you have that 90 area contested. You can't have people rotate out of AVG, and with the landing control as well that you have to take 90, you can't rotate through the stun because you go through the gun site. And TTU, a really good performance with something we really wanted to see and haven't really been able to as we went into the second half, but they do have to do it yet again as A&M look to defend the same site in Texas Tech University, look to push us through to overtime.
Being that Oregon is next, a very structured map, what do you think a possible TAMU win here means, especially considering A, this is their opponent's map pick, and B, the style of siege that they've been playing so far really lends well to the structure required for Oregon?
I think we're going to see a fair amount of anchoring and maybe a bit of light roaming. Say you think of Kid's bedroom, you're going to have somebody armoring, pull him back quite quickly. Or maybe someone attic, pull him back quite quickly. But right now, I really want to talk about TAMU on this round. The pulse, definitely a impact the operator and an impact switch that you could see. Podwaka waiting with a C4, looking for a kill to shut down CanQ, but he's moving too fast. He is just unstoppable at the moment, feeling it as he pushes through the connector, as he pushes through to try and get that 90 control in the same fashion as before. Chief and Podwaka, though, changing their focus onto that Nomad, and as they start to slow their progress, the opportunity was there, but they weren't going to capitalize on it. I think we're going to see these roamers come in later stick.
Definitely would be important if Texas Tech simply get aggressive and clear out the bomb site, flipping the cards. That would be very dangerous, and that's the risk you run when you try to play a passive roam. You can get caught off guard and with a lack of pressure on site. If Texas A&M come out successful with this roam, it really, I think, means a round loss. Refracking roamers, especially roamers below a pulse scanner, a nitro cell tossed up, and a kill onto Aspen, the Nomad down, Podwaka, the teamwork for Texas A&M. It's incredible, and CanQ now down as well. I believe that was the nitro cell below, and so it's just explosives all across the board. Buck, though, could get to pick him up. If only they had another nitro cell, he could pick up a double kill here, though I think we're all almost about expended for that explosive utility. And now Bait positioning himself to try and apply some westward pressure, or southward rather. He's going to have to deal with Praise, who's holding close at the top of the staircase. Buck really keen on trying to move through here, though you can see the outline at the bottom of the red stairs. That player could come up at any moment. And oh no, losing the Ash, a critical kill for the round. And the man advantage now strongly on the side of TAMU. This map could be over their opponent's map pick. Their map pick could be fading here. It's going to need to be another incredible play from CanQ. We saw him get a triple before. If he could get another one, that would be great. And he starts it off well and shutting down Hibachi. And now gun vault control is clear, though. And Nitro tossed out. It fails to connect. So critical. Bait shutting down Podwaka as well. That means a ton here. And now it's equal man count, but with the Jaeger dead as well, Texas A&M are crumbling. And this round could yet be over. The plant beginning as well. This is all it counts for. And Jinro dead as well. Can they deny the plant? Can they get it? Oh no, the timing. It's so unfortunate. It was incredibly close. But now forced into a 1-on-2. The Pulse will have to come up with an incredible clutch play.
Yes, and he'll have to do it soon. Time is ticking down. Bait is watching, and Chief has to know this. They know where he was when he shot below, and he's just going to double check now. He spots a player on the pulse scanner, goes for the swing, but doesn't see him in time, though. Goes for the swing, but the double peek is there, and Bait will get the kill, pushing us to overtime on Villa's pick.
Here we go, TTU, they're able to come out of this half regardless of the sites that TAMU was able to win. Now that's far in the past as we head to round number 13. Texas Tech will remain, though, on the offensive. But the issue for TAMU is they've lost twice now Aviator games, and it looks to be the same objective repeated again. I mentioned the critical difference when you're trying to hold a passive roam, and ultimately TAMU, that's exactly what happened. They didn't get aggressive enough. They didn't flank up to cut off the TTU execute, and because of that, because the Pulse was simply biding his time downstairs with no nitro cell, he ultimately was nearly useless in that post plant. They weren't able to get any kind of meaningful intel to shut it down. He missed the crucial floor bang. And ultimately, because of that, now instead of us heading off to, a map 2 with a Tamu stolen map pick victory, we'll see it drawn on just a little bit further for Villa.
And definitely that morale boost Texas Tech needed, being able to pick up 2 rounds when it mattered the most, and A&M returning to Aviator games. I personally I think if it doesn't succeed on the site, try it again. If it doesn't succeed again, go somewhere else. Do not have that amount of rounds to play with, trying to keep at it, getting it right. That's what strengths are for. However, they will be taking the first overtime defense to ABG again. I want to see a similar thing from Texas Tech that we've seen the past couple of rounds, being able to step up, push through, get the kills as needed. A&M, though, if you're going to have roamers in the form of the Podwhacker and Chief on that post like we saw before, they need to know when to come back to site, because that's the biggest problem we saw with A&M. They had a player below, yes, calling out plants, calling out positions, but without a C4, the impact is limited. So rather come back to site, be another body, another gun. That being said, though, Texas Tech are going to be pushing and looking to take control for the first time, I do believe, since Texas A&M took us 5 rounds.
Well, you talk about limited, and the master bedroom push, definitely not. So you've got 3 players holding just outside, and now the sledge moving in as well, making careful sureness to clear out the bottom floor, though we'll actually see way less reliance on that roam. And so it's Tamu maybe feeling that last round was just kind of a failure based on the fact that they lacked enough site presence. I somewhat agree with that. We'll have to wait and see, though, how it will play out. Obviously, for the defense, a big thing to look at is Hibachi on the Clash, with Praise at his back on the Jaeger, slowing down the control of 90 for TTU could be the crucial deciding factor, though we didn't really see too much reliance on it last round. It was simply a force in through Study, through Zombie, and into Aviator that won the round.
Yeah, I really like the switch from taking away a pulse, bringing a Clash instead, because, yes, I think you're correct in the assumption that Tamu think they had a bit too much off-site presence. They didn't have enough guns on the site. And that's what they've kind of thought. Buck, though, will spot Jinro, looking to make sure that there will not be another gun on that site when it comes to the late round. But we are drastically approaching it with a minute left, and 6-6 in overtime. Clash is still up, trying to be naded out, but it's just not happening. Cute looking for something on this 90. Another frag grenade coming out. Will not be able to find that badly needed Clash kill. And as we approach 50 seconds, nothing's really going to be happening other than A&M holding third.
You're right on there. It's been a ton of utility expended in removing the Clash. Finally, the nade for Kanku to kill Hibachi. And so, with only 35 seconds, the man advantage it was in the TTU favor, but now swinging back and forth like a pendulum. Kanku, when he gets those impact frags, that's when the rest of his team tends to fall in line, but no! The Ash turning her back, exposed to Jinro, who swings into the hallway. I don't think they're able to collect onto the classical hallway player himself, and choosing no, playing back inside of Statue. This is a critical play, and with Chief getting that kill onto the sledge as well, there should be an easy denial. The coverage from the Ace, or the Nomad rather, and shutting it down. This round, it just seems to have all different types of storylines, every single flavor. The Ace holding close. He's not giving up this position on top of the diffuser. An impact grenade tossed out forces the Ace to swing in the headshot for the Maestro. The Nomad playing so conservatively, though. This is exactly the right play you want to see. The impact grenade doing a bit of damage. He might have heard the scream of the Moroccan operator, though she just continues to play it passive. There's no way back into this for Chief. He'll have to get aggressive or shut it down. Unfortunately, that flashbang will blind, I think, both of them, so nobody can see what they're doing. And the time, though, elapsed. Espen will clean things up. Texas Tech, they continue another Aviator games win. No matter the changes that Tamu makes, it's an attacker around time after time.
It honestly is. A&M really starting to slip up here, looking to use the attacking shift to get that momentum. But now Texas Tech are looking to head into Oregon, that map up. And honestly, looking at that, the Clash plays was incredible. But you wasted 2 frag grenades. You wasted a lot of time. I would have pulled back to site then. Honestly, though, there's a reason I'm guessing not playing. So that might not be exactly what was going through their head. They might have said I could slow them down longer, so keep at it. I really like the position of Podwaka in study with that Ella. Able to find that first kill onto Bait as he pushed in. He was able to try and get a swing onto the players pushing into AVG. He could have got the ace, but he overpeaked just a little bit too much. The attackers were ready for it, and as we go to trophy statue room, a warden will be brought out. I'm thinking just to make sure that they can't use flashbangs as effective as Texas Tech have been able to do so far.
I wonder if the warden pick is for use inside of the walk-in closet. Obviously, probably close to one of the areas in Siege for comp, at least, that sees the most flashbangs. Another area that would come to mind, Yellow Stairs on Consulate. And so to set Bait in this position could be the plan. Again, TTU will choose not to bring the Wamai. Though last time a significant engagement occurred here for Walk-in Closet, it was ultimately the defender, I think, that came out with the advantage because both grenades missed and ultimately wasting the utility did nothing to clear her out. The attackers, you'll remember, they got so aggressive in that round. Once they saw that the grenades, they didn't connect, they tried to rush in, they tried to consolidate it, but ultimately the FO12, that Ella shotgun, just a monster inside that closet. You never want to fight against it because I can almost guarantee you will lose.
Yeah, and as we see this round starting off, we're seeing almost exactly the same start that we saw in the very first round of this game. CanQ and Bok playing nearby on that room, gonna force A&M to clear them out. Praise will have that Jackal, will have access to that tracking ability, which we do see banned away quite a bit when teams don't really do. But CanQ will get spotted, he helps for a run out though, able to find one before he gets traded out, and honestly, that's not a bad decision, as weird as it may seem. He realized, being scanned, they were going to peek him from that bookshelf area, so he's going to run out and try and get someone, and you know what? I got to give props to him. A very nice play, a very nice impact kill, as Chief now, the IQ, cannot go below, cannot clear out a lot of the utility, and this is where we've seen A&M slip up on their attacks before.
Espen playing a dangerous game here with the mid-round reinforce. That was a rotation. Okay, so into pick. You don't see that all too often as far as rotations go. I would have liked to see Vigil maybe drop the hatch. Maybe that was kind of his last-ditch effort to try to keep it closed. We can kind of speculate all we want, but what's important is that kill with the UMP. Jinro down as well, so now you're hard breach with the wallbang. Fate mispositioning himself just a little bit and getting tagged up as a result, but still TTU a 4-3 advantage, and with match point at their backs, this is all that they need and more now, as Bucky's able to get a kill as well and shutting down Praise. Hibachi and Podwaka, speaking of Hibachi, taking a bunch of damage, attempting this engagement. The MPX, a pea shooter, yes, but a consistent gun as well.
And rocking that 1.5x, absolutely huge, but Pokey Spartan is going to rip away the chance for Bait to use it. Podwaka on his own now, full HP, 30 seconds of the clock now. The only hope for A&M to keep them in the game, to push us through to another overtime round. Texas Tech with 4 players up are going to look very strong in this position. Bait putting a couple of shots out, unable to find a kill, will tag a Podwaka though. Now you've also got Puck coming around, free fire coming out, will find that kill onto the low Jaeger, but 13 seconds, smoke canisters coming out. Podwaka pre-firing best he can, spot on camera, and Espen shuts him out, and Texas Tech take Villa.
Well, it only took overtime, but they're finally able to close it out in round number 14, taking it 8-6, and we'll be on to our second map, but before that, we'll have a couple of minutes to talk about our thoughts, kind of come up with, the storyline as far as what went down for that map. And it was certainly back and forth. Tamu, they had, unfortunately, a great opportunity. They were up by so many rounds. They were taking consistently no matter the bomb site. But TTU, They got everything back under control. They were able to take the reins and consistently 4 rounds actually in their favor, back to back. Didn't matter the side. They were able to close it out.
Yeah, honestly, a Herculean effort from TTU, but one that is very much well deserved and well earned. They will take Villa 7-8-6. Sorry, pushing it to overtime. The mentality of Camu at the moment, that's going to be in tatters. They had on their map pick match point. They then lost it. They had to get pushed to overtime and could say, okay, we can bring it back, as we have done so far. I personally think going back to Aviator games again on overtime wasn't the play because it hadn't worked twice in a row. Texas Tech will be very confident attacking that site. Try something else. But heading into Oregon, Texas Tech will go in a map up.
Yeah, so stick with us. When after this short break, we'll be back with map number 2 of Texas Tech A versus Texas A&M. All right, everybody, welcome back to Collegiate R6. We're heading into the second map of our first series, Texas Tech versus Texas A&M. It's been a great first map villa so far. Went all the way to OT, though not to the final 15th round. TTU, they were able to close it out before that was necessary.
Yeah, a really good performance shown by A&M on their defensive half of Villa. However, they just didn't have what it took to close it out at the very end. Texas Tech were able to really just pull the A&M. They pulled them and said, no, we're taking it. Pull back 2 rounds, pushed us to overtime, and then we're able to take both rounds almost without any effort, effortlessly. A&M seemingly crumbling at the Tech University.
For a long time in that second half, it was the story really of the TAMU. Just, they had so much momentum. But ultimately, you talked about it. As soon as they went to Aviator for that second time, that's when things started to go wrong. And they didn't just go wrong, they went wrong, wrong, wrong all 3 times that they attempted it in that series, and it just did not go their way. I think, though, both teams should be ready, and we might just be about to get into it. Really excited to see how Oregon will play out. We talked a little bit about the fundamentals as far as this map goes. And it's definitely going to be a slugfest.
Yeah, most definitely. As we head in, I really can't wait to see what these bans are, because it's going to really reflect what the teams are planning to play. Now, I know it typically goes without saying, but if you see a ban, you can kind of make a couple of assumptions based on that, on how teams want to play. Say if you see a Thermite ban, when, you know, you have, or Habana ban on like CAF, you can see they want to push a Maverick into a kill box. On the Bakery, on CAF Dostoevsky, you can swing from prep and get a kill there. You can make a lot of assumptions, say if there is typically an ADS ban, that they're going to have a lot of utility. So Thatcher going away, though, not really telling me that much.
Certainly not, but the Jackal ban is a bit of a different situation. It seems that maybe TAMU are going to attempt more of an aggressive roam, and banning out the Jackal will make clearing that all the more difficult, which is definitely interesting.
Yeah, most definitely. Seen that Jackal, something we've seen A&M really use quite well towards the end, because they were able to push out a Vigil. Typically, he would have pulled back to site or gone down below, but he decided to run out and get a kill, which definitely helped Texas Tech. So getting rid of that removes the possibility of that being forced away from them. Mira, though, will be banned yet again, being taken away as she was on Villa for an obvious reason. Malusi, this a similar scene. We have almost identical bans to our last game.
It's not choosing to switch anything up, just trying to stay the course. And I guess coming into this, maybe they're trying to kind of carry on what we saw in the first map. The bans worked out pretty well in the favor of the TAMU defense. Offense, though, was a bit of a different story.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to head to laundry room, supply room, the bottom floor as we start out. And very much unsurprisingly, we're going to see a typical lineup for this site. We're going to see the Wamai, we're going to see the Jaeger, and we're going to see a Smoke being replaced with Clash. So probably looking towards the actual pillar door area so that you can have a player in that little construction box playing with the shield, with the Wamai, the Jaeger, really difficult to push out. But then you have a Clash on the other door. So it just makes it look unpushable, forces the attackers to say, okay, this isn't going to work, we need to go somewhere else. Hopefully we can get the process will allow you to go to the meeting room, they'll head around and waste a lot more time going to either Freezer or to that main lobby. And as we do see this round start to set up, Steve is going to make these rotations that we can realistically expect. And there's a reason we see this a lot. It's because it just works, thanks to a wonderful man that we're just not going to really talk about. We're not going to really name it. We're just going to leave it as it is. Although this Clash, I really want to see how this Clash is used alongside this construction pole.
5 seconds left.
And as we see, oh, looks like with 5 seconds left, it looks like we're going to see a very aggressive play coming out from Texas Tech. Or might at least looking to be got out into that blue area quite quickly in the hopes of draining utility very quickly. As we see A&M starting to make their approach towards this west side. although a bit more spread about. As we see this push, not much room for game on the side of TTU. That might come to bite them in the backside as they're expecting this blue push. And Hibachi playing relatively close, giving that little bit of audio information as she walks above, might help a bit, but it doesn't look like the ruse is going to last for long. Definitely Texas Tech going to have to switch over to this freezer, and this might be what A&M need, because they haven't really stacked towards the construction. They haven't stuck towards freezer. They're playing construction. Bates watching freezer, yes, but there's not much support behind it. And it sounds like I'm going on, but that's because Six trying to fix his mic again. Kankuto will find a kill onto Hibachi and open things up in favor of TTU. Realizing something was amiss by not being there over by that con area for quite a while, and as we see, the top full control definitely go in favor of A&M. Podwaka starting to move down. The rotate coming to freezer from Pokey Spartan will give away the position. Will start backing up. And realistically, with no one there to help, Zofia can't push out Pokey Spartan. Support will, however, be coming towards that main set, looking to open things up, get another angle onto the clash. But it's going to be very difficult to do. And we will see Podwaka go down to Buck. He was able to also get his eyes towards that main stairs. Now a rotation towards main stairs, towards those north stairs would be huge. But A&M are going to try to do this. Grace will get that one. But at the moment, there's a lot of softball and a lot of angles that A&M need to cover. Shots will ring out both sides. Tamu, she's looking to come down this freezer as well. Will tag up as Epson gets tagged up just a little bit, but pulls back. Jinro, though, finding the first kill in favor of A&M. Getting caught, taking him off the board. The cap-out charges will start to go down. The flames and smokes following. The C4 coming out, though, as they realize the plan might come. Genku, they'll find Chief as Braze and Jinro are looking to push, but there's a gauntlet they have to go into. Jinro doesn't care. Finding a kill if they can. It's all down to him and Braze, and they have to cover the peak. Epson, though, waiting his time. Finds one, finds two, finds the first round for TTU. And I'm gonna take a breather because that was a beautiful round to see. TTU stacked that construction area. They were very much prepared to deal with it. However, that's not what happened. And they had plans in place just for this very occasion. Able to shift over towards freezer. Shift over towards that main stairs area, the laundry room. They could see it. They could see what was coming. They were prepared to deal with it. They had crossfires set up. Espen, a beautiful patience shown by letting the planter get in there, start placing that down, then get the kill, then swing onto the Praise as well, and secure that first round. Now, Tamu, if you're going to be going to that site again, you want to go for a freezing push, you need to support that the Zofia. The Zofia cannot realistically deal with Clash alone, because the concussion nade, in the time it takes for the cooldown to fire again or to switch to your weapon, the Clash will already have the shield up, so you need support with it.
Well, I'm back, so we're good to continue with the action now as we head into round number 2. You mentioned patience, definitely a virtue and so meaningful here on a map like Oregon, where a lot of these rounds, you can easily chalk them up to burning down the clock or good attacker usage of the clock. And it's that timer, which can be so vital. It can work in the favor of the defense. There's, I believe it's Keg, who likes to call it, the sixth defending operator because it can be so effective. But there's also the fact that attackers, if they force in early, if they're really confident in their execute, it can be really a struggle when you're sitting on the bomb site. There's 2 minutes on the clock, and the attackers, they're already, kind of halfway done with their checklist. Not a good situation, and it's definitely never comfortable.
Yeah, definitely. And we're seeing the Storms push. We're seeing a relatively standard Storms hold. And the main thing to really deal with this is a Bucker and IQ. Either operator, not on the side of Tamu. However, they will be looking to just use that Ash, open up that attic area, which the Selmas will start to go off on, and start to open up these lines of sight to push up IQ. But he can just back up. There's a wealth of utility invested towards that area, which he can rely on to waste time. Drone following will get taken out, but Tamu have not been sleeping. They will find a first kill onto Pokey Spartan on that white stairs. A couple of other players are in that armory position as well. So while CanQ has been distracted, they have been able to get in place. Chief, though, will fall as the Habana, and losing a good bit of hard breach, specifically over towards that master bedroom side, is huge. Jinro having to rotate will look to get that line of sight open to make sure Ken can't rotate out of Attic.
Important to look at the fact, however, that there's only 3 walls you need to hard breach open, and it seems like Tamu have been successful in doing just that. With the attic wall open, it gives Praise the opportunity to push in, drop through Pit, and it seems like this has just been mostly forfeit. Texas A&M not trying to put anyone inside of attic or monster, and choosing instead to anchor down inside the bomb site. Buck, I imagine, probably going to be the first player to engage with Praise, who sits waiting patiently just to rotate. And Jinro is in, so he just has a free opportunity to get the plant down, though I said free. He's shut down by Cancun. Tried to swing in through the rotate, goes down. Praise as well. Buck, the Jaeger on a double kill, and the Zofia dead on wide steps as Bait collects the kill. Buck to swing wide, and it's a triple kill. Texas Tech with round number 2.
They had everything in place. From my perspective, Tamu, they had that attic kind of started to be drained. Master bedroom was open. Yes, they lost a player, but that was just a trade. Attic was open. They could cover that rotate. They could watch Cancun all back into dorms. They weren't able to get that. And then Bait and Buck, they were just able to step up, start picking up the kills, and there was nothing Tamu really could do. They was just dismantled one by one, not able to go for the refrags because of the way they had split up. And at that point, TTU just went around playing T-Hunt, hitting heads, and picking up another round on that defense. The castle will be brought in place of a Valkyrie Ford kitchen dining hall, and I'm gonna talk a little bit now about how I want to see Tamu push this as soon as they know that it is this site. Mini tower. I'm sure you've seen it by now, Stick, but there is a point on that mini tower where you can go above, and where Pokey Spartan is playing, you can open up just to the right side of that. You can see right there on the inside of that door. If you can get in there, smoke it out, get a plant down very quickly, you can pull back, hold the longer angle, then as soon as that falls, have someone playing above just shoot down. And that is something I've seen a grand final of ESA be lost to. A Sledge playing upstairs, and a Mewtwo was able to get an ace, but couldn't get the defuse because of the angle being so difficult to test. He eventually won it, and at that point had 5 seconds to defuse. It couldn't happen. But what I want to see from Texas Tech is aggressive at play. Expect Jinro or one of the A&M players to want to open that area, and then play really aggressive, play for gunfights, play to slow them down, get those picks. But it looks like it will be a big tower push coming out from Brace and Podwacker with Jinro in support of the drone.
This is the exact way that you want to attempt this. In the bullet holes, I don't know if that wall is reinforced, but definitely a dangerous game than Buck lining up close there. Ibachi on the gridlock, applying some pressure through from the main stairs, and it's a great gridlock track stinger, so you're able to lock off the rotation, and now it seems the SASR operator pushing up to take maybe a bit more control. A lot under the Texas A&M belt, though, as they will attempt to open up this wall, but a successful bandit troop will surely put a quick stop to that, though actually one Selma will detonate, and now this is going to be a real difficult situation. The bandit, his position, they know just what's happening here. He's prone under the wall in the head. He gets it, the ace, the AK-12. Shut down quickly, no more bandit tricking, but the shockwire from beyond the grave will be able to take out a Selma nonetheless. Pokey Spartan on the refrag, shutting down Hibachi. Praise looking to move up and make an aggressive play, positioning himself just through from the meeting hallway and possibly in preparation to move into kitchen. You'll have to worry about the Wamai, though, sitting above. He's got a great angle, shooting a magnet. He might have just, though, revealed his hand. And they'll surely be prepared for that. Praise going down here would mean so much.
Definitely being able to get in there and get those opening kills. and that's something you cannot afford to lose. But Can Cute, like you say, gives away his position, but not before taking a praise a lot. He's now in this dining hall, able to apply a lot more pressure as the kitchen plant does start to come down. Podwaka in support, will be looking for another kill, but Buck is able to find Jinro. She's getting that trader onto bait, though. Praise is still stuck in that dining room. Poke is spotted, pushing through, finds that kill, and suddenly it is a 2v3 in favor of TTU. The plant shut down as Kanku's able to find another one, and Podwaka on his own security now has to contest Buck and Pokey Spartan. We've seen him in this position before with a diffuser, looking for this clutch, but he just can't get it as Pokey gets the kill.
That's all she wrote for the kitchen and dining bomb site. An excellent defense despite the bandit going down in an unsuccessful trick. They ultimately weren't able to complete the execute. And it's just so punishing. I mean, you had everything set up. You were going to go for the plant, the Wamai, a crucial missed opportunity onto the Ash, but ultimately it didn't manifest itself into the clutch. And unfortunately, that'll just mean another round for TTU. 3 now they've been able to get. Flawless rotation, and we'll head down to basement, that objective which we saw come out initially.
Yeah, looking at it, I want to see Tamu prepared to deal with taking that. Yes, you need to be prepared to take instruction. It didn't work before, but that's not because TTU would heavily stack towards this main side. It's because they were able to rotate around. Zephyrs overstayed their welcome on that freezer area trying to kill the Clash, which just couldn't be done. They bring in the Kali, which does say to me that they're probably going to go for a con push, maybe meeting to get the hatch, and that's the vertical play that we're going to need to see. If they want to get this win, they'll need that hatch control. They can get control of box, because the way Texas Tech play it, they're going to really make A&M struggle for every single piece of gift. And Espen, actually coming up on the castle this time instead of that smoke, will be looking to make that happen. A lot of easy roam potential for them. The castle's just going to make sure it is safe so that they can just move around.
Ooh, almost a panic knife there from Praise. The Jaeger, though, Buck not able to get the kill and instead falling back to play Harry Potter. It's no slowdown, though. Texas A&M, they're full throttle, shutting down Espen, and Bait could soon fall, but it's actually Pokey Spartan. He'll die at the hands of the Zofia. And now Texas A&M, they've got a fire in them starting off here for round number 4 and shutting down the Castle and Bandit. The manpower for that objective, incredibly weak, forcing Bait out of kitchen and down the hatch. He'll have to rotate, but it seems that's not his plan at all. Coming up the freezer steps, he's just on a full rotate all the way from the basement, and now upstairs. He might choose to come down from attic. It's hard to tell what the plan is, if there is one, but a flank could be huge. An aggressive play. Here comes Cancun. He spots the Ash. He gets the Nomad as well. Incredibly aggressive, but it works out so well.
Oh, that is incredible from Texas Tech. Able to just go in, get these kills that they need to get. Buck able to find Chief as well. We're going to get down to Jinro and Podwaka. Podwaka has been the last man in the last 2 rounds. And, oh, this is heartbreaking to watch. Can Cute, incredible play coming up those north stairs. Able to find the 2 kills. Nomad still on the camera. Like you said, that was a massive pick to get. No more air jabs, no more ARX, no more AK. Whichever gun Hibachi has, it doesn't matter. Jinro having to fall back as they still don't have construction control, and Podwaka on his own is going to try and fall back as well. Bait looking for this pun. Podwaka, as he goes down freezer, will start to get shot from the hatch from Bait, who drops down, gets that kill, and suddenly Jinro on his own. He has a diffuser, he has a minute left, and 3 kills to find. He knows the player's up above. He knows that Bait is nearby, but does he know where? Rotate into meeting, might give away the kill that Jinro desperately needs right now. He just about spots the head. He's able to get it down and will get the finish. But now with 38 seconds on the clock, he has to find 2 more kills.
Smoke canisters will come out, obscuring his flanks as he drops down through E-Box. Pony is clear, but the hallway is a different situation, and the Wamai coming on through the AUG A3 as Texas Tech respond incredibly well. Early round struggles, That doesn't matter because Cancun, he went aggressive. He came up the steps. The Ash, she wasn't ready to take an aggressive engagement. And the Nomad, well, she definitely wasn't ready. 4 rounds up. TTU starting off strong for Tamu's pick of Oregon, and this is what you would expect for a very defender-sided map pick. But Tamu really struggled in that last round. They had such a great start too. You give yourself a 2-man advantage, a wonderful leg up, but just in an instant, it was all gone, washed away as the Wamai perched on the steps.
Yeah, at that moment, Nomad, you just want to be a little bit more behind, so that stuff doesn't happen if you're on a camera. Unfortunately, though, it did, and TTU will go 4 rounds up. Now, at this point, I'd say, okay, you've got a good half. Get anything else you could get on extra. A bonus. You can pick this up. Going back to the dorms site, then you can easily rest a little bit, have that breathing room on your attack, and hopefully pick up the win. Like I said, A&M, they're going to be heading back onto their defense after this, and they're really going to be a lot more comfortable, I'd imagine, because that's how we saw on Villa. They struggled at the start, got on their defense, really hit their stride, but the main thing blocking them off from recreating that magic is the fact that this is TTU. A&M, they had the map pick on Villa, which is why they could easily get into the swing of things onto their defensive half. But the question is, are they as comfortable on defense as TTU are?
Well, you would certainly hope for this being, of course, TTU's, or rather, this being Texas A&M's pick. It's not good, you know, to pick a defender-sided map and then not be able to defend it. I feel like that goes without saying, but it's definitely not something you would want to overlook. Texas A&M have been mostly quiet so far, and you know, the last round, it was good in the beginning, but that's all it was good for. I mean, in the end round, the ace, he was able to get the kill in meeting, yes, but dropping down the hatch, there was still 2 defenders for his 1 attacker to deal with, and simply the way that TTU are playing, they're not going to give up that man advantage. They're not going to give you those one-on-one engagements, and that's exactly how you lose those clutches. Take a look at that, though. The Wamai Cancun shutting down the sledge on the close angle. Didn't expect him to be so close there on the tarps, but ultimately the AUG again. Cancun, such an effective player here for the TTU defense.
Yeah, really aggressive plays coming out, but definitely paying off. Cancun definitely hitting his stride. Nobody's gonna slow him down stick as he finds that first kill onto Praise. Being able to get rid of the sledge, the frag grenade. So once that utility's cleared, there's nothing to come after behind it. Jinro, though, will be looking to open up this master's side, but Buck has something to say about it. Taking the kill onto Podwaka, getting behind the players now. If he can get towards Sabachi and get this kill for free, this can be huge. And the round most definitely will be TTU's. Sabachi, though, will not be exposing himself too much, but getting a pre-fire out just in case, deciding maybe to step back a bit. We don't need to test this. This is bad. But the minutes start to tick down on the clock. Jinro can see this attic start to be opened up, but it's so late into the round, Cancun's fallen back. They don't need to hold that area anymore. Reinforce will come out to shut off that rotate, and Hibachi and Chief will hear it, but they won't be able to do anything about it. They're gonna have to funnel through now. They could go for a game 2 plan, but it's so difficult to stop, and Jaeger Crossing will be able to just get away with it, but kills ADS is in supply, but Pokey Spartan will find Hibachi. Chief fighting Pokey Spartan, though, as Buck gets a kill onto him. It's all down to Shinro yet again, and he will get taken out by Cancun, picking up his 3rd kill of this round. And TTU, this is looking very good. 1 round away from going to a match point.
A 6-0 would just be astonishing. You can't allow that to happen. If you're Tamu, I mean, you can spend all this time talking about theory, talking about how, you know, one side is supposed to have X many rounds, and this is what you would expect. This is how the map is supposed to be sided. A 6-0, I'm sorry, Tamu, but there's no excuse for that, even especially on your map pick. A big thing about coming to one of these maps where it's very one-sided as your pick. You need to be confident that you can play the other side. And Tamu's attacks, aside from a tiny glimpse on round number 4, they really do not seem confident, and it's kind of worrying because Tamu and TTU, I honestly think, are pretty even teams. But the way the Texas Tech are playing this, they're doing everything right. And Texas A&M, there's a lot of mistakes, that's what I'll say. And I wanted to mention this, the reinforcement of the kids' bedroom rotation for Attic last run, it really felt a lot like kind of the basement for Elbow, which is definitely a weird dynamic, but I like the thought, and the way that TTU are playing it is, I think, well into their hand. In reinforcing that wall, you don't have to worry about somebody applying pressure through the rotate, and there's no way that you're getting hard breach off at the 50-second mark for that wall that has just become reinforced, because the time that it would take to call for the hard breacher to rotate, if there was any hard breaching left, which, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the Ace had already used all 3 of his Selmas, so that wasn't really something they could have done. It just simply wasn't possible, and it creates a situation where Texas A&M have to funnel in through those kill angles.
Yeah, definitely that. Really nice position, and in the similar vein to the construction box down on that bottom floor, which we've seen TTU want to take and defend before, but, you know, didn't have to because they rotated around. It's that you finally get to push through. You finally clear the utility, start getting these angles, and they're not there. TTU, though, if they win this round, I can easily see them being able to pick up at least one of the attack rounds, because Texas A&M then have to play a perfect game on their defense. And it is such a hard thing to do. They cannot make a single mistake if they are lifting this round. They cannot make a mistake. They cannot make a single misplay. They have to get one. But Habachi, go for a wallbang, will be unable to stop Budwaka falling to Buck. Will get tagged up slightly, but will get that kill. Upstairs, but goes back up. Hibachi will fall to that kill. And Buck doing incredible work, hitting double digits with the kills in round 6. Going to be felled, though, however, by the gun of Shinro. Praise with that frag grenade. Will be looking to dominate with this top floor control with the rest of his team, but time is being wasted. Q is still in Kid's Storm, and a minute 36 on the clock. Time being ticked away. It's looking all more and more Texas Tech round. Players down below, they just have to wait, realistically, because A&M will have to come down. The drone going in, though, will look for Q. Praise looking to act on this ping as it has gone out. It's looking to try and spot a rotate, unable to find one. Will try and get a frag ready as the utility is wasted. Pretty fast coming out from Cancute. Will not be able to find the head of Chief so far. Praise looking for any movement, but time is ticking down. He will get tagged, gets a few shots off in return, but doesn't get enough to get the kill. Pushing up though, Cancute will fall to Praise. Maybe a bit too aggressive there, and now Sledge can do what he does best as he picks up his first kill, but he can't. Getting down with that C4 coming out from Espen. Incredible placement.
Just flying up there through the ceiling, and Pokey Spartan on the castle will get Jinro as well. The time wasted on the top floor here is excellent from TTU, and the Wamai almost was able to get a Sledge kill on top of that, so it's so worrying. Looks like the Smoke holding aggressive bait, waiting for maybe a push-up from Chief, who sits eagerly here at the bottom of the white staircase. There's 15 seconds left to execute. Diffuser in the hands of the low-health Praise, and it doesn't look like an execute is possible with all rotations locked off. A shotty on the close angle, bait to get Chief, and Espen with the kill as well. Texas Tech, a flawless game of Siege. 6 defending rounds for Oregon. Their opponent's map pick is just, it's sinking. It's sinking. Their hopes of winning this series, of coming back to push us to OT, to push us to a third map, they're sinking as well. And now we approach match point. We're at match point, and TTU have an opportunity to close it out without anything from Texas AMU.
Yeah, in such stark contrast to that last game, which we saw overtime in Stick, overtime. Tamu, unable to pick up a round so far, will be going to the bottom floor, looking to try and pick up something and not have that 7-0 dream come to fruition. TTU, though, are going to be bringing a blitz instead of a Sledge. And the Maverick and Ace, along with Ash and Zafir, a very aggressive playstyle is sure to follow. CanQ proven that he can pull it off numerous times. Well, most importantly, coming to mind, that north stair push on the bottom floor, finding kill. Looking at this on the bottom floor, C4 is going to be key. If they can get that blitz early, A&M stand a chance. But if they let blitz get in and start already causing such a heavy impact in the round, then the rest of TTU will follow through, and I don't see A&M, unless they pull out something special, pulling it back.
Unwavering aggression for the Blitz is definitely the way you want to approach this. If you can, simply take control, a bunker moving quickly, there's only so much you can do, with smoke canisters, with shields, because a Blitz, you could have a smoke canister in your hand, tossing it off to lock away the rotate, and the Blitz could just charge on past you, flash you out, and just melee you, and instantly that position is made worthless. I think that's exactly what we'll see attempted, though notably the absence of that shield. Maybe this is a bit of a late deployment from Praise. I'm not entirely sure what the plan is just yet. Maybe the Smoke is going to choose to play aggressive. I think he has a shield in pocket. We'll have to go to an expanded view to check on that as far as if he does have that utility remaining. The Valkyrie, though, her shield is definitely deployed. The utility game, it begins. Wasting all the ADSs, clearing out the shield. Unfortunately, though, one of the breaching rounds will get absorbed by the last of the ADS, and the position is given up. Here it comes. The blitz play that I mentioned, though, it doesn't even need to be effective because they have no plans of holding it. They say, you're rushing in with the blitz, I'll see you later.
Yeah, definitely. Texas Tech took their time to really scope out what's happening. And in that time, the player towards construction got cold feet and back off. A&M, though, are going to start feeling the pressure right now as Ace gets those somewhat charges down. CanQ being a lot of breathing room here towards this pillar area. Nobody putting pressure on and allowing for a lot of control. The rest of TTU can start funneling in. A&M, they're going to need one of their Romans to start coming down now. There is no one there. Buck playing that Zafir on the north stairs will just be looking to apply pressure as well. The bunker strat, it's a very risky one at the moment. It's working out, but as Praise is able to find a kill at CanQ, Buck finds another one. Praise, though, gets Espen. Buck getting cheap as well. It is a game of refrags here. 3-3. Buck, though, able to find another one as Podwacker finding Buck. They just can't find a kill that will go unanswered. Bait playing towards this pillar's area as a C4 will go off from Podwacker. There's time down to a minute. 2 players left. One of them on low HP, one of them on full. Texas Tech can take their time. They can say, okay, we have drones, we can use them. We have a look where they are, we can coordinate our pushes. The north side of this first bomb site is clear. We can go for a plant here, but we need to swing. And that's what Bait and Spartan are. They are waiting for this push. 40 seconds down on the clock. Texas Tech so close to closing this all down. A&M, though, Podwacker and Praise stop this utility going out. Podwacker knows there's someone close, goes for the swing, but doesn't get the kill on the diffuser. That can keep Texas Tech in this round. Spartan, though, will find a kill. Praise getting an answer of his own. Very low HP. It's down to the 1v1. 20 seconds on the clock. Spartan's going to have to go in. One bullet from either player can end it, and that's it. Spartan giving Texas Tech a flawless game.
A 7-0 Texas Tech close out the series without a second thought for Oregon. How dominant can you be? Their opponent's map pick just crumbled. It did not go anywhere near their way, and they'll steal it out. That Smoke, he was just on too low health. He tried to hold it close with the shotgun, but there's only so much you can do when you've got so little health. An incredible game from them. TTU played out of their minds, and this sets an astonishing precedent. Do not take TTU to Oregon.
It really, really does. And looking at that last position, it could not have gone any better in that final round. Both players would have been killed by one shot. The shotgun at that range would have just been a one-shot kill. The HP of the Smoke was a one-shot kill, and that's all that was needed. Buck, though, the Zafir, stepping up massive for his team, getting that position on North Stairs, being able to find kill after kill after kill, and what a round to end it on. so goddamn close. You really can do nothing but commend both teams for really sticking that one out until the last 20 seconds. But Stick, that is it.
Unfortunately, you are correct, and I would not have at all predicted Oregon would play like that, especially from, what we saw. Tamu were kind of a shining light in Cafe, or rather Villa, which is, of course, a very strat-heavy map. They had a lot of good executes and some really confident defenses. But ultimately, there was just something about Oregon that gave Texas Tech a huge advantage. That's all for us for our first series of the evening, though after a short break, we'll be back, myself joined by Poseidon coming in as our co-caster. That'll be Hawkeye Community College versus Bradley Braves. So stick with us, a short intermission, and we'll be back for more.